Look out, and Ortiz gets hit in the back. And they are going to send out warnings to both sides. Interesting with the fastball there.
Well, you know, it's interesting because the umpires are right on top of things. You know, they immediately, because of the history, put warnings to both sides. And do I think that was intentional? No, I don't.
Really?
And of course, there was a dust-up between these two teams at Tropicana.
David Price has impeccable control. I think John Farrell wants an explanation why a warning was issued, and he's just been thrown out.
Wow, that was quick. Well, now John's going to stay right there in the face of the umpire, and he's going to get his money's worth.
And this means the Red Sox can't retaliate, or their pitcher gets thrown out of the game. So I think that's why John's so hot that the warning was issued. Maybe, unless he feels maybe Price should be thrown out of the game.
I think probably the biggest problem John has is his pitcher can't pitch inside now.
Right.
Whether he's retaliating or not, he cannot pitch inside because it's going to be perceived that way by Bellino.
Now David Ortiz hit by the pitch, and a warning has been established right off the bat here. And Bellino stepping out, pointing to David Price as Ortiz is hit by the pitch.
And if anybody's wondering if that pitch got away from David, don't wonder. Now, this is a fastball with intent. David goes right after him. That's why the quick warnings issued by Dan Bellino. They know coming in that there could have been something come from that.
And John Farrell is now going nose to nose with Dan Bellino.
My own thought process on this is, again, if an umpire feels that you have to issue a warning because you think the pitcher threw at him on purpose, then you should just kick that pitcher out.
You know, it's interesting. Some may wonder if that has to do with what happened last Sunday. Maybe it has more to do with what happened in the postseason a year ago, the last time he faced them in this ballpark. Remember, Ortiz was not in the lineup against David Price last Saturday. And that may go back to him pimping his home runs and Price and Ortiz having words.
That's probably more than what I think.
Look out. Carp gets hit. First base open, and Carp taking exception to this. And the benches will empty here at Fenway Park.
Yeah, this could get ugly. This could get ugly.
Now Ortiz is fired up and trying to get to Price and Molina in between, but David is fired up. As they come closer, Ortiz obviously taking exception to being hit earlier in the game in the first inning.
Why isn't he ejected?
That's what I'd like to know. Why warn them? Why warn both benches? If then David Price comes in and hits another guy, he's not going to get thrown out of the game. He should be thrown out of the game.
They have to be discussing what they're going to do with Price here. Are they going to bounce it? And strictly a judgment call on the umpires. The warnings were issued, but he did work him inside and hit him on the hand or the wrist.
The second man he's hit tonight. He has doubled his hit batsman total for the season tonight in the first 4 innings. Now listen to Fenway.
Very inexperienced crew. What are they going to do? It does not appear as they're going to throw out Price.
No.
And he's upset. Torrey fires his cap down, and he's not yet been ejected. When we can tell he fired his cap down. He really wants Price out of the ball game.
Well, how do you throw John Farrell out? If you're not going to throw David Price out here, that's lousy.
Sort of running out of people that can manage right now, Jerry, after if Torey Lovullo gets tossed.
Yeah, who's third in line? This is like the government.
Brian Butterfield will have to step up, I believe.
Gonna be a long weekend at Fenway.
The pitch comes in to Carp, and now Carp starts to take a stretch or two. And both benches are emptying.
I had said to Dave before he left for a moment that David Ortiz is going to lose his mind before the end of the night, and he's the one that's getting it going. David Ortiz being held back by Jose Molina, and now the bullpens are coming in. And I knew that David Ortiz was not going to deal with what was happening to him tonight.
You're not hitting Mike Carp on purpose.
No, not that time.
He's 0 for his last 13 or 14. He's not a guy you're really worried about doing any damage to.
Red Sox frustrated by what's happened tonight.
Well, if the tables were turned, the Rays would feel the same way.
Yep.
You know, David Price is just trying to come in on Carp, and he clipped them.
If they throw out, now Torey Lovullo is going to put up a big show.
Oh, he's got to show how much he cares now. Torey Lovullo, by the way, was the guy that said last Sunday that we would never steal third up 5 runs, forgetting that that's exactly what they did in the postseason a year ago. So who's the Secretary of State there in their dugout? He gets to be manager now.
Wow. He's out. Ejected from the game. A ball up towards the head and behind it of Longoria. It's back to my star theory, Jerry. Earlier David Ortiz, now Evan Longoria.
Exactly right.
Brandon Workman is going to be ejected from this game, and he is contending that it slipped out of his hand in the rain.
Well, Carp's still hot because he felt like Price should have been thrown out of the game when he got hit in the hand.
Exactly.
If you hit our best player, a lot of times they'll say, well, then we're going to hit your best player. And if you're going to get kicked out, sometimes it's not too bad to do it when it might be your last inning anyway. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and it went behind Longoria. There he goes. He's gone. You saw it coming. You could see it coming. And now here come the Rays and Red Sox as they start to drift out of the dugout.
Brzezinski was doing his best there also to get in Evans' mind. And Evan, to his credit, said something and turned and walked away.
So Davey Martinez is trying to get out in front of his players, and so is Joe Madden. But Workman's kicked out, and I wonder if that'll be the third manager kicked out for the Red Sox, because usually it's the pitcher and the manager.
That's right.